Where is Superman in the Penguin story? One of the main characters in the universe of DC Comics is Clark Kent, better known as Superman, an extraterrestrial who arrived on planet Earth to become the symbol of hope that the world needed. However, in the Batman universe of Matt Reeves, being that it is a much more realistic universe and focused on the more dramatic and political aspects, we are often left with a question: where is Superman? In this video, we'll be talking about what might be happening with Superman in the Batman universe, and how he might eventually show up alongside other characters with supernatural powers. And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. Before we start with this video, and to celebrate the arrival of the Penguin series, we will be giving away a Funko Pop from the Batman movie. To participate, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel and leave a comment telling us who is your favorite character from the DC universe and why. The winner will be announced on October 31st. When we look at the Penguin series and Matt Reeves' The Batman movie, it's easy to think that this universe doesn't have room for a superhero like Superman. Seeing someone flying and full of superhuman powers seems out of place when Gotham is dealing with corruption and chaos in the streets. This is a world where villains like the Penguin and the Riddler are real threats, and the battles are more personal, physical, and emotional. But this is where the DC Comics universe gets interesting. Sometimes it's the strangest or most unusual things that end up giving us the best stories and lessons. Perhaps a more realistic, more human Superman could fit into this universe. A Superman who is not just a symbol of hope, but someone who also has to deal with the same struggles Batman faces in Gotham. Although it may seem that Superman does not belong in this type of world, the truth is that DC Comics has always been able to blend these elements. In the second comic of The Riddler, a comic that shows us the origins of this villain in Matt Reeves' universe, we can see a train ticket in which the city of Metropolis is shown. Metropolis is the place where Superman lives, and it is the first time that this city is mentioned. However, it is no coincidence. The fact that we see characters like Batman, the Joker, the Riddler, and recently the Penguin leads us to think that although Matt Reeves' universe is much more serious than others from DC, there are constants that will be repeated, and little by little, we will begin to see supernatural elements as Superman would eventually be. When we saw Batman and Superman fighting together in the Justice League, he was already a more adult version of Batman, a Batman who had suffered from the loss of his teammates, and who had been fighting the Joker possibly for decades. But in this version of Matt Reeves' universe, we can see that this is a Batman who has barely been fighting the Joker for a year, and who is just beginning to see how big the superhero universe really is. Now, just because we see references to Superman, or at least Metropolis and other superheroes, in the Batman universe, it doesn't mean we will see him as their comic book versions. There could be a much more human version of Superman, someone who is not invulnerable from the get-go, but who discovers and develops his powers gradually. Instead of being the perfect superhero from the very beginning, this version of Superman could face the same dilemmas as the more earthly characters in Matt Reeves' universe, struggling to find his place in a dark and complicated world like Gotham. We would see a Superman who is neither untouchable nor invincible, but someone who learns to manage his abilities over time, while facing the same difficulties as any ordinary person. I don't think it's realistic to expect the jump to go straight from Penguin to the Justice League. Instead, it would make more sense for characters to be introduced gradually. Perhaps we could start by seeing small mentions or appearances of characters closer to what we know in this world. These characters would be revealed organically, not as mythological figures, but as individuals who grow and evolve within a more realistic story. In the Christopher Nolan films, we saw Batman fighting the Joker, a Batman versus a clown, but the result was so dramatic that it was even an Oscar-winning film. So eventually Superman could come to this universe without having to infantilize this DC version. and we could see perhaps the most realistic version of the character. Now, seeing the Joker in the deleted scenes of the Batman, it is clear that we are looking at an incredibly chaotic Joker. Someone who could easily drive anyone to madness, even Superman. In fact, we've already seen how the Joker accomplishes this in the Injustice storyline, where he manipulates Superman into the villain. Imagining an evil Superman in this more realistic universe would be a dream come true for many of us who were left waiting for this approach in Snyder's films. A dystopian future with a corrupt Superman could fit perfectly with the dark tone of this world. With a Joker like the one Reeves shows us, we could see a cracking version of Superman, something that would be fascinating to explore. Still, while things seem to be lining up, it's critical not to rush. If the proper time is taken to build this story right, we could be looking at something truly unique in the superhero universe. Perhaps this is DC Comics' chance to build a truly dramatic shared universe, without needing to follow the formula established by the competition. Over the years, we have seen how DC has tried to achieve success quickly, but that urgency has led them to make mistakes that affected the coherence of their cinematic universe. This time, with the more realistic and serious approach that Matt Reeves has brought with the Batman, DC has the chance to create something different. Something that is not dependent on big explosions or exaggerated action scenes, but on deep stories and well-developed characters. This is DC's time to make a difference. Instead of trying to rush the arrival of other heroes or villains, they could take the time to build a universe that breathes on its own. A universe where every character has his or her moment, and of course, if we had to imagine a Superman for this universe, the clearest choice would be Henry Cavill. He could bring the drama and intensity that the character needs to fit into this more realistic environment. Cavill has not only proven himself to be a compelling Superman, but he also has the ability to give him that emotional depth that this universe demands. He would be the Superman that DC needs, and more importantly, the one that they truly deserve. In the Penguin series, the Falcone family is working to rebuild their criminal empire and expand their operations after the events of the Batman. In this more political and realistic story that Matt Reeves has created, it wouldn't be surprising if we soon see connections to other powerful families and influential figures outside of Gotham. This is where characters like Lex Luthor could come into the picture. Lex Luthor, with his power in the business and political world, would fit perfectly into this story. His ties to organized crime would make him a possible ally or rival to the Falcone family. Imagine Lex Luthor pulling strings from Metropolis, cutting deals and forging alliances with mafias in other cities. This could enrich the plot and gradually connect the Batman universe with other DC characters. As the Penguin series progresses, we may begin to see signs of these connections to Metropolis. The expansion of the Falcone's operations could involve not only other criminal families, but also corrupt politicians looking to expand their power. Lex Luthor could play a key role and a collaborator to Sophia Falcone. But tell me, what do you think about all this? Would you like to see Superman in this universe? Do you think DC Comics has the opportunity to properly expand this universe? And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You are on The Oasis Geek.